Here we go. Yep, there's Koopa Cape. It actually doesn't sound that bad. Koopa Cape looks... Oh, bro. Oh my... Oh, God. Holy crap, LA looks completely different. I'd say it's actually accurate. Moonview Highway! Wait, there's 2 Wii tracks? Whoa! Well, I didn't expect that. Wait, but that means... Oh, that... Oh. Oh. Athens Dash. What are the earlier new releases? Whoa. Daisy. Oh, so we're not gonna get Mushroom Bridge until way later. Alright then. Oh my god, Sunset Wilds looks amazing! Vancouver Velocity, Vancouver Velocity! Holy crap, Vancouver Velocity! Yes! Early release of Vancouver Velocity! Yes! That is absolutely amazing. That is a really good thing to see Vancouver Velocity this early. So no Rome? I guess we're getting rid of all of the earlier tour tracks, but yes! Oh, that is a really nice banner for these characters. 48 additional courses plus extra characters. They really did ditch the narrator from the first 3 waves, so... So from that point on, I would delve into my thoughts about all the 8 tracks that we got for Wave 5. But when I was editing my footage for that, it turned out that I was super awkward. I was very much tired. You could tell that from the reaction that I wasn't as enthusiastic. Although that's probably because I was expecting it for a good while now, so I'm not really as excited as I should have been. But it doesn't matter anyways, because we certainly have a lot to talk about for Wave 5. Now, in terms of overall quality, I think this one is kind of in the same direction as Wave 4, but there's certain tracks that don't make me feel much of anything, especially 2 certain tracks, kind of like Wave 4 with Riverside Park and Mario Circuit. So starting things off chronologically with game releases, let's go ahead and talk about Sunset Wilds. Sunset Wilds, this course gets a lot of flack from the Mario Kart community because despite this being a GBA remake, it plays more in line with how it originally played in Super Circuit. And I guess by extension, most other GBA Super Nintendo courses that really didn't do anything in the previous games. So it was kind of disappointing that this track didn't really get much of any changes beyond it being a simple port. But what I am impressed by was the graphics. This looks surprisingly good. Maybe it'll make up for the lackluster layout, but at the same time, I don't think this is going to win over anyone that was more skeptical about Sunset Wilds. Now, the thing that concerns me, especially looking at the extended footage for Nintendo of Japan's website, is the fact that the sun doesn't seem to be setting. Maybe it does and I'm just not looking hard into it, but if the sun doesn't set during this track, I think that'll be a really big disappointment because that is one of the main features of Sunset Wilds that makes it special. I really don't want it to have the same issues as Sky Garden where its identity was lost, but I am at least glad knowing that some portion of it is still intact while Sky Garden is more different, like a different course than it was originally. Up next is Daisy Cruiser. Daisy Cruiser is a course that I was kind of expecting to see in the Course Pass eventually. It's one of the more beloved courses in Double Dash, so I'm kind of glad to see this course appear in the Boosted Course Pass. I was never a fan of how it looked in Tour, mainly because the colors used was a little too drastic and clashing, and it's just kind of messy to look around. But here in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, despite the fact that it still uses the same color scheme and all the textures used in Tour, it looks pretty good. I am kind of glad that it's not like anything worse and it's just a straight up port, because there was some effort put into this track. I'm definitely excited to see this course in action, especially knowing that the music will probably be as good, if not maybe a little bit better than the original. But who am I kidding? I'll always love the original Peach Beach theme from Double Dash. Skipping ahead from DS because, yeah, we have Koopa Cape and, surprisingly, Moonview Highway. Now, Koopa Cape was something that I feared the most, because as we all know, Koopa Cape's appearance in Mario Kart Tour was, let's just say, not the best. And it seemed like Nintendo went with Tour's route and didn't really do anything extra about this course. Not like something that they did with Mushroom Gorge, where they combined Wii and 7's variants into one. It kind of sucks too, because I kind of hope that Koopa Cape would look kind of better, like with different texturing and all that, but it just looks like an enhanced port of its appearance in Tour. Not that it bothered me, I kind of expected that route to happen anyway, but it's still disappointing nonetheless. But regardless, Koopa Cape still looks like it could be fun to play around. At least it'll be better than how it played in Tour. If any of you guys have played Tour, you know how horrible the water physics are. So it'll at least be tolerable. Still though, I kind of wish Koopa Cape was better. But now let's move on to Moonview Highway. This was a course I did not expect to see it coming at all. Especially since a lot of us knew that the city courses from the Mario Kart series would clash with the city courses from Tour. So I'm at least glad that that little series has been debunked, which doesn't really mean anything since we have one more wave left, but hey, you know, who knows. In any way, Moonview Highway looks pretty good. Just straight up good, nothing more, nothing less. It looks just like how we would play Mario Kart Wii, no knickknacks or whatever. It's just good old Moonview Highway, and I'm not really bothered by it. I did say in the original recording that this might be the first Wii track that's not strictly a fan favorite. And I'm not sure if it really is a fan favorite because to me it looks like it's like in the same vein as Peach Gardens where people like the track, but I don't feel like it's in the same extent as courses like Waluigi Pinball, for example. I don't know, let me know down in the comments if you think Moonview Highway is a fan favorite because I certainly don't know. And now let's get on to the 3 or at least 4 tour tracks, starting with, of course, the obvious one, Squeaky Clean Sprint. I've already said my thoughts on it on my previous Mario Kart video, so if you want to hear my full thoughts on that track, go check that out. But in short spurts, this track is pretty interesting. I'm a bit scared that this will be a track that I'm not really as fond of when it's released, but I hope that's not the case. It does hold some promise. But now let's talk about the 3 city tracks. Starting with the Federer Cup opener, Athens Dash. I'm still gonna call it Athens Avenue. It's like an instinct at this point. I'm not really as upset about the name as I did like months ago, but I'm still kind of bothered this is the name they chose. Athens Avenue looks pretty good. Surprisingly good, which was good because the original looked really unfinished. It looks kind of ugly if I'm gonna be honest, but this track just looks straight up good. And I am excited to see this track in full action. There's some interesting parts about the track that I didn't expect, like these girders. It makes me think about what this track would actually play like in the Booster Course Pass. It's also like Sydney's Sprint in a sense that the 3rd variant is not out yet it's probably going to have it in the route, so that'll be pretty cool. Up next we have Los Angeles Laps. Now LA Laps was something I kind of expected to see as well, but the track was completely changed in ways that I didn't expect. The only negative I have to say about this track right away is the fact that the boss were killed off indefinitely, so that sucks. But otherwise, this track actually looks like something you'd actually see in LA, which is good because as far as I know, which was more recent, LA is typically depicted in like media as like this sunset filter thing. Not sure what's the best example to go for, but I've heard it somewhere. So I'm kind of glad that Nintendo decided to go for a more realistic look for LA by having it take place at a bright sunny day. I do kind of miss it when it had the sunset, but I'm not as bothered by it as like, say, Bangkok Rush. So I'm gonna give it a pass for at least being a little bit more realistic. This track just looks pretty cool. It might be one of my favorites in the wave, but that's just purely because I have some small experience with Los Angeles as a really young child. Even though most people know that LA is just pretty bad. And now we get to the course that I was definitely the most hyped for, Vancouver Velocity. It definitely blew my final last hour predictions out of the way because I predicted Rome Avanti, but that doesn't matter because we have Vancouver Velocity, and oh my god. I knew this track would look pretty good in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe regardless, but holy crap, this looks fantastic. I'm glad to see that the anti-gravity potential is finally realized in the first variant. I am a bit more curious about how the course would play otherwise, because it kind of looks like there's some sections in the extended trailer that showcases that maybe we're going to take a different route than expected. I don't know. But no matter what route Vancouver Velocity will take, it'll be no doubt one of my favorite city tracks to play through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I'm very excited to play through that track whenever possible. I'm not sure if this is any better than Wave 4. I mean, the selection is pretty unique, I'll say that for much, but it does leave me wondering and a bit worrying about Wave 6, knowing that tracks like SNES Bowser Castle 3 and any of the GameCube tracks are left up for a table. And there has been some discourse that I've seen after the trailer's release about the Wii tracks, specifically about Rainbow Road. I don't know if I want to talk about that right now, so we're gonna leave it be. But in any way, that's all I wanted to say about this. I have nothing more to say. I'm stumbling around with words and I don't have much to say, but yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know down what's your thoughts on the One Wave 5 as a whole, and remember that Stu cares about you. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a new Mario Kart Tour track that might be Mob DK, and if that's the case, then I'm sadistically grinning because there was a long discussion about Mob DK for a good while now, so if that's the case, my god, I've had my revenge.